So I know I spoke, I believe, earlier this year, or not, it was last year, about workshops, being careful, watching ones you should avoid for the price, what's a money grab, what actually has value, etc. I have a whole video on that. I'm going to link that down below in the description and possibly the pinned post in the comments. But this speaks to this video itself. Now, once again, you really have to evaluate for the money and for what you're being taught and who's teaching it, if they're authentic or not, if a workshop is worth it. Earlier this year, in 2019, I did take a street photography workshop taught by Joshua Jackson. If you haven't seen his work, I'll link him down below. And Craig Whitehead, aka known as Sixstreetunder. I'll link him down below. And one of my favorite photographers of all time, I even made a video about him with Saul Leiter. You see a lot of influence in their styles there. Joshua does a lot of abstract stuff. Craig has a very keen eye on a lot of key moments, also not really showing a lot of faces. You'll see in primarily a lot of their work. And my goal, and I've been a fan of them for a while, they know this. When I met them earlier this year, I told them this as well. We've spoken a couple times. I just really wanted to see what is in their head. How do they work? How do they see this stuff? Not necessarily just the settings and stuff like that, that others may want to know. I was just curious on, and that's really the point of a workshop, in my opinion. It's not just to know the settings or how this one thing is lit, it's to get into the mindset of someone. And this workshop did just that. Now, this is basically a testimonial to an extent. I'm not going to go in depth into what they taught, the exercise and stuff, because I feel like you should experience that in person if you could attend one of these, especially if you travel like I did, or even if there's some closer to you, especially in the US. I really just wanted to cover a couple main things that I learned, some takeaways. My one biggest thing that Craig and Joshua pointed out of what I do that's wrong or that isn't preferred, so you could get more, shots. And this is nothing that they asked for. This is just me wanting to share, and maybe, it helps someone else out there who's kind of in a rut. And for the price that I paid, it was just a couple $100s. I honestly feel like it could be more for the value it was given. We were out all day. It was hot out at the time. So definitely bring some hydration. It's planned very, very well, in my opinion. You're out shooting a lot. You're moving. You're going quick. So also bring very comfortable shoes as well. Especially you're going to be out in the city. You're going to be out in a very populated place. Be prepared to be on your feet all day. Bring some hydration and just get ready to take a lot of photos in a short amount of time to complete some of the exercises that you'll learn. It's worth it. It really, really is. Now I have some notes here, so don't mind me. I did go into the workshop. It was a one-day workshop. It was like 6 or 8 hours or something. It was a very long day. We even got some chow after that. That was kind of cool. My main issue was knowing when to silhouette. You'll see in a lot of their work, they use silhouettes a lot of street stuff, brighter days, even some cloudy stuff. It's just knowing the proper moment when to do that. I've also seen that they shoot a lot more telephoto as well compared to what I'm used to. So I wanted to learn more about that. And then once again, seeing how Craig and Josh see the details. So that was my goal going into the day. Once again, wasn't the settings. It was, let's see how the tables turn up there. And to start off, I'll talk about one of the biggest points and one of the issues that I had that I realized. It's something that they called hunting and fishing. You'll do exercises with that. But really what that showed me is if you're fishing, you're kind of posting back, you're in one scene, you're in one area, and you're trying to fish for a photo. You're trying to, capture something. There's nothing wrong with it. But what I found and what Joshua walked up to me, he noticed I was like sitting back against kind of like a concrete barrier. There was this, there was something going on in the background. And I really just wanted to capture a special moment with someone there and a special thing. He said, "Hey man, you could do it, but you're propping yourself up. You're just sitting back." He said, "Come with me." And then within no more than a minute, he had at least 12 or 15 different moments that he shot. Maybe 1 or 2 of them was usable and keepable, but be on the move a bit more. There's nothing wrong with posting up a bit like I did. But I mean, I was there for a good couple minutes, but he said, "Dude, there's moments all around you happening. Feel free to move around. It's not a bad thing." So I will say hunting and fishing, that was a big thing. And that's something that stuck out to me. And then Craig later on even saw me do it again, just, maybe like 15 minutes later. And it just stuck out to me. Move a bit more. you'll never know what you capture. Number two, the small details matter, and to be super hyper aware on basically what someone's wearing, what they're holding, what they're doing. And that's what makes your work and your eyes stand out to us, is how quickly you're able to see stuff, and to be able to get a glimpse into that was really, really cool. Even if it's just someone is wearing like a green ring and they had a green purse or clutch or whatever they call that, a lady walking by, you would see that, you would know to boom, grab that right there. Or to like grab a juxtaposition of colors, someone's wearing pink and there was all pink or something in the background, you could go from there. It's just being hyper aware to a being, what they're using, what they're doing, the facial expressions, everything. It all works, it all blends. You get to see that process, that mindset as you walk around with Joshua and Craig, and really just see what's going on and the stuff that you're easily missing. Another big thing you learn is to take photos of the now. Joshua really chirps on this one, and I 100% agree. And you really kind of overthink of it. You think of the same, everything as boring, mundane, the same. Whereas if you look at photos of the past, they were photos of that time. And that's why you're kind of reminiscing on them from being in the past. But if you're in the now, in the 2019, almost 2020, there's photos of now, the smartphones, the AirPods, etc., that will be way more evolved in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And when you look back today, you'd be like, what is that iPhone thing that he's holding compared to, Craig was saying, someone's walking around with a Walkman back, CD player from back in the day, from 15 years ago, 20 some years ago. Be in the now. But one day, whatever you're taking right now will be old and nostalgic and part of history. And once again, this one wasn't necessarily for myself, but one thing you can get from a workshop like this is really to forget about your camera. There's a bunch of exercises that Craig and Josh run you through to get used to just having a camera in front of your face and, getting around other people, and maybe not necessarily getting right in their face, but just a little bit in their personal bubble, getting used to it. And they encourage everyone to use the same settings for the day that we had earlier in the year. They'll give you the settings that they want you to use, and you can ask about specific ones as well. They're very, very approachable. They will help you. They will take time. As we're walking around, they see where you are. They observe. Like I said, when Craig came up to me, he walked with me for just a couple minutes, and he really kind of just showed me, some stuff. They'll take one-to-one time with you out of the smaller group that you're in. They want to learn. They want to capture awesome moments. And yeah. Now this one was interesting. I saw Craig and Joshua at times go into stores and shoot from, the inside looking out, just through different things. And the way they frame their things, once again, some of them a bit abstract. Some of them obviously don't show the face, or they're blocking the face, or they're blocking some feature. They really use the rule of thirds very, very well in their work. So you could see a lot of their stuff and go, man, I don't know why that is such an impact, but it does that. And I'll show you one image from what I learned, and I took, maybe just a month or two ago or so when I was in New York, and I used what I learned from that workshop to this. And it was just kind of like a serviceman or maybe a doorman leaning against the wall. There's just a pool of light coming in, but it's only lasted for maybe 2 minutes. Now, my eye originally saw a long shot. You saw the guy. I was shooting through like a bus terminal type thing. But then it was just him leaning. And then I'm like, what if I kind of crop in to not even show him, but just like the feet and on the ground? It's something simple, but I think is really dynamic. And that's what you see in a lot of their work. So don't be afraid to distort, cut off, use rule of thirds, cut off the identity, use shadows, etc. Change it up a bit. Go inside of a store, look out. Look to see who's walking by, what reflections there are, etc. A lot of that is kind of like street photography, maybe 101, but you really don't see that unless you have more of that eye. So it should be at least street photography 102. Now we'll talk about one of their moments and one of their challenges, because I think it's important, and there's still obviously a ton to learn, and it is shooting in a confined space. A challenge that Craig and Josh gave to us was staying in a block radius. That's it. 1 block radius, across the street, same side of the street, and just to find many, many moments in there. And I'll tell you what, that is a huge task, because everyone's seeing the same things. You want to capture something different, but there are many moments that pass through that. And if you can capture many moments in that short or small of an area, you can do that anywhere. You have an entire city, you have an entire world, you can do that type of stuff in. So look into that. Shooting in confined spaces was a very big challenge. because we're all just walking up the street and just being like, man, am I taking the same stuff, etc. But that's a very, very, very good challenge. So overall, I know this video went kind of long, but I really wanted to explain a lot of this stuff, and you could gather some street photography tips from this. And I 100% say it is worth attending a Craig and Josh workshop. It really, really is. You guys are very personable, and it means a lot. No matter how much of a beginner or maybe advanced or whatever, you can really learn a lot from this stuff, and really just kind of getting out of your shell if you're kind of nervous going around people with a lot of the exercises and challenges and things that they say in this workshop goes through. Once again, you get that one-to-one time. That's very, very rare. And I talked about that in my problems with workshop videos. You get a lot of one-to-one time, even though you're in a more of a group, it's a smaller group, they will answer your questions. I 100% agree. But light, shadows, silhouettes, you'll learn all about this stuff. Use your settings, set it, forget it. Now go around and capture the moments. Doesn't matter what lens you're using, etc. Just be hyper aware, but not creepy, about what's going on. They care about helping you. They care about you being there and sharing their vision. And once again, it's worth every penny. And like I said, probably even more. So definitely check out their workshop. Any questions or comments, leave that down below. Like I said, through this video, I'll share, some things that I learned from it, not necessarily from the day, but things that I took, because New York City is right next to me. So whenever I go in there, I like to bring my camera, obviously, and intentionally go out and do street photography. So maybe a couple of those will pop up, once again, but I still need to shoot more. I still need to go out and shoot more. I was a little lazy after that. I've only went to New York a couple times after that, and that's really kind of it. So check it out. It's really worth a workshop. And once again, hopefully maybe you got something from this as well in regards to some street photography stuff, but you will learn a lot from Craig and Josh.